Adoption has always been something that has been on both of our hearts. On my heart personally, since I was in junior high or high school, a lot of family adoption situations, interfamily and non-related adoptions. And it's something that I always saw myself doing. I knew I always wanted to be a mother, but I always have had a heart and wanted to raise kids who needed parents.
I think I'm very similar as far as time frame, late high school, early college years, as I saw my adult life, if you will, ahead of me. I really realized that I wanted to engage in the adoption process and be an adoptive parent. It was just something that resided inside of me that it was difficult to get away from. I was even single, knew that one day would be married and would be a parent, and just wanted to be a parent of adopted kids even at that time.
When we found out about our children and found that we had matched with two, we were surprised, first off, because we were intending at first to only adopt one at a time. But we opened to the possibility of that and did match with a sibling group. And we found out information, very little information about them at first. And as we moved through the process and read their file and decided to choose to accept and move forward with our kids, we were so thankful for CASA's involvement. Our kids were fortunate enough to have a CASA in the system. Not every kid has that. CASAs provide outside influence and dedication and a person to advocate on behalf of what's in the best interest of the kid while they're in care. Usually they're some of the most knowledgeable people about the kids, and we found that to be true in our case. We worked with wonderful CPS workers, but because they have such heavy loads and are so overworked, they do amazing jobs with the kids. But their ability to really get to know the kids and spend a lot of time with them is very difficult for them because of the amount of work that's required of them. So our CASA was the one who knew our kids and gave us the information that we needed as we were preparing their bedrooms and buying them clothes and choosing the space that they would come in. We really wanted to create a home environment for them that when they came into our house, they saw pictures of themselves already. They had a bedroom that was made for them that reflected who they already were and their interests and their desires. And our CASA worker really took a big part in that and helped give us information. She talked to us about what the kids like to eat, about their personalities and what they enjoyed doing. She let us know how much my son loved superheroes and how much my daughter loved princesses. And so we were able to create a space that felt warm and inviting and made for what I believe was an easier transition when they got placed with us. When our kids came to live with us, they were 6 weeks from turning 4 and 6. Neither of them really knew their middle names. They couldn't tell me when their birthday was, even though it was coming up. And at that age, that's something that you kind of expect from kids, but sometimes you see that gap in their full understanding of who they are and their sense of identity as a person. One of the things that we found, though, is that a lot of who they were and their identity building situations really did come from their CASA. Their CASA was the one who knew their preferences and their likes and dislikes. And it meant a lot to us to have someone who was so consistent with them for 2 years while they were in the system. Today, it still warms my heart a lot to know that there was someone with them for 2 of the years that they were in the system, and that knew them and followed them and at least showed them and reflected back to them some of who they were before we were able to take them.
And one of the things that I would hope that anyone that's considering becoming a CASA, if they're on the fence at that for any reason, that they would look at this story and learn that they can be a part of this story themselves. They have the opportunity to be able to help other families and to see this sort of thing play out in front of them day after day. I wish more people got involved with CASA overall, and when you hear stories like this, you can see why it's such a wonderful thing to be involved in.
It's been almost 2 years since we were placed, and we still keep in contact with our CASA. I just sent her an email update last week, and she emailed back and said it's one of her favorite things is to get emails from us and other adoptive families that show where her kids are. When we look at the foster system and kids who are from hard places and who are in situations that they had nothing to do with, we have to look at that and see that these kids, just like the kids in our own homes, are our future. They're the future of our communities, they're the future of our churches, they're the future of our state. So I think the question is not, should you be involved or should I be involved, but how should you be involved? How should I be involved? If you can't volunteer time, if you don't feel the push or the tug to actually house a child, to adopt a child, to make them part of your family, then consider advocacy and representing them with CASA. If you don't feel like your job or life situation provides for that, agencies like CASA need funding to be able to train those who do have the time to advocate. And so consider giving and being a part of it by partnering financially with CASA.